All right, here is the doc and we can get started. There's the doc that I'm working from. So Steve asked that we just go over a couple of things. He wanted us to go over the any follow-up that we did from August 29th. He didn't give me an update on his own work, but I think one of the more interesting things that we can talk about is the Figma work that Arvin has been working on. That was one of the areas that he really wanted us to focus on. And what we need to have on that front page. And I know that you guys have talked about some metrics. So it seems to me that we need to identify the exact metrics that we need to have on that front page. And I'm going to pull up the product in a minute here, and we can cover that. In our outreach meeting on Monday, we had a call, for those of you who were not there, we had a call regarding building adoption. I had gone through over the summer and revamped a lot of the documentation, and I realized that one of our problems for adoption is we don't have an easy way for people to play with Ortelius in a CI/CD environment, which is core to the product. We have to be able to connect to the CI/CD pipeline in order to gather our metrics. So we have to have the two together. So Sasha graciously took on the task of setting up a Jenkins environment. We're going to look at that. So we're going to hear from both Sasha and Arvin in this call, and hopefully we can identify maybe 5 core components that need to be on that front screen, that kind of the roll-up screen that Arvin is working on. And it's hard to talk and type at the same time, so Tracy review.
Sorry, Tracy, I thought last 2 weeks ago, has Steve categorized all those metrics? I remember the top one have kind of three key components. Is that right, Evan?
Yeah, total components, total applications, number of reusable components, and top 4 used package dependencies, and the top 10 most vulnerable. Those were the ones I thought were important, that were important. Let me share my screen so everybody sees what I'm looking at if you haven't brought up the doc. I think that would be a lot easier to have this discussion. Okay, so here's what all of you discussed last week. Total number of components, total applications, number of reusable components, top 10 most used package dependencies, top 10 most vulnerable. I was surprised that the number of vulnerabilities was not higher up. I think I would have put it up in the top 4, at least the top 5.
No, Tracy, in the last meeting, we just put the list of top 15 points that we want to share, and if we go after the 15 points, you will see like we have divided it into 6 stages
I
or
see
like
right
6
here.
diagram. Yeah, so like one
Yeah.
to three, we
I
will
just shared
define
the
in a
link
pie
is
chart.
the dashboard link. So which is
Okay.
you can have a multiple diagram can be shared as the high level summary so people can get quite a lot of information in one go.
Yeah, I also share the Figma that I am working on. So yeah, based on that categorization, I created the Figma.
Okay. So let me get to my chat. So is this what you were talking about, Jing?
Yep. So that one you can see they also have those radio button down below as well. So people can select and then choose what diagram they're going to show.
Okay. So was this discussed last week, or is this something that you guys have ran into that you felt would be a good format?
So we discussed, that all booking has three pie charts. I think in the last video, I think Steve said that we have the three pie charts there. Is that right, guys?
I think you're right. Yeah, you did well there, Jing. You came up with
Thank you.
some solid
My
stuff there.
memory works today.
Yeah, no, you came up with such
So,
good stuff.
so
Mm.
what would be, so right here on this, it says these are bar graphs.
Yeah,
Which
so one,
ones
two,
would,
three will be the pie chart on that booking hotel booking reservation page.
right? So what would be what data would the pie charts be showing?
So total components, total applications.
So this pie chart here would be the total, instead of a bar graph, it would be, this would show. So I'm trying to come up with what that would represent. So this is guest nationality, which I kind of get. I feel like with one of them, if we were going to do something like this would be um, to, like top vulnerabilities. Which applications have the highest number of vulnerabilities? So that's what I'm trying to drive down to, what those pie charts would actually, what data would actually represent. So this
Sure.
would be components, like this could be components. And would this be the application that consumes the most components? And I don't know if that's good. That's interesting data. I feel like showing which applications have the highest number of vulnerabilities would be interesting, but I think that, or maybe the top 10 applications. So this would be a pie chart of 10 applications showing which ones have the most vulnerabilities. And if I'm an end user, now, if I'm a CISO officer, I think that would be an interesting point, because you'd say, okay, here's the top 10 applications that have the highest number of vulnerabilities. And by the way, I did some research on what a vulnerability cost. A low risk vulnerability is averaging about $4,000, and a high risk one is averaging about $65,000.
Wow. A lot of money.
Log4j, yeah, Log4j costs $90,000 to fix, and that was and that's not per in company, that's per application. And
Wow.
the total dollar amount for vulnerabilities right now worldwide is $9.8 trillion.
So we're in the wrong business. Should we be writing malware rather?
Well, I'm thinking if we tracked, yeah, right. I think if we were to track dollar amounts, kind of like this has a dollar amount, right? If we were to
Yeah.
track the number of vulnerabilities that are within our applications and calculated it based on current data for what a vulnerability costs, low, medium, and high, that could
Yeah.
be another interesting data point for a CISO officer to say, we need to get these vulnerabilities under control.
Yeah.
So,
When the
Yeah.
and I know at a board of directors level, um, something I look at, because I am on a board or two, is are we prepared for this? And
Mm.
there's a whole bunch of things like that are beyond the cybersecurity team.
Mm.
So anybody like that would, I think, there's a version of the dashboard or an extract from it that I think they should care about.
Mm.
And increasingly, they will care about.
I
Mm.
think they will too. I believe that. I feel like what we're doing is a bit early, but that's okay. If we can
Mm.
provide the dashboard data, that's what they need to start being able to filter through high risk and low risk vulnerabilities, understand where the high risks are, um, so that they can start remediating them. And I want to talk about remediation for a minute, but there's
Yeah.
there's other stuff that
Have you
should talk
shown
about.
this to John Linford, Tracy?
I don't know how much he knows about what we're doing. Probably
He's
not.
he's running a quantitative what is it called? It's quantitative. Here we go. Quantitative supply chain risk management project. And he could potentially get you on as an invited expert, but you
I
should
have
talk to
reached
him about it.
I have reached out to him recently because I'm looking for quotes for the for our Deploy Hub pitch deck. So I'll reach out again in regards to that. There are some really interesting things that have come up recently too with the government since I've started looking at the government stuff. the Department of Defense recently have added some interesting requirements for their DevOps pipeline. One of them is they say their systems common strategy must include a plan to continuously assess, track vulnerabilities on all the system assets within the infrastructure. So part of the problem with vulnerabilities is that the way we find them is at the build point, right? So if we think about SAS and DAS, static code analysis, and dynamic application security testing and static application security testing, at the static level, we do code level vulnerabilities. And at the time of the build, we do that static look and we say, okay, it doesn't have any high level vulnerabilities, let it rip, goes out. 2 days later, we have high level vulnerabilities that we're not aware of because it's static. Dynamic application security testing is a little different. It does more security forgery, SQL injections, what's occurring in production, what's running in production. It uses agents to do that. It's scanning production, but it doesn't go down to the code level. So you never have new information about what new vulnerabilities your code may have in it. So in order to do that, you have to go back and you have to run all your scans again, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, since you scanned it once and you have it, right? Which is really what we're trying to do. We're trying to pull that information out, lock it to a logical application so you can look immediately at your dashboard and say, here's my application. These are the new vulnerabilities for today. And I believe that our dashboard should provide that information really front and center. So if I log in or I have the dashboard up and running and I want to refresh it and see, because we scan vulnerabilities every 10 minutes, that we can see what the new vulnerabilities are. It is one area that nobody else is actually doing. What I have seen, there are other companies. There's a company called Oxeye that GitLab bought, and what they do is they go out and they put an agent out there that opens up the container and rescans everything. But there's no point in having an agent out there if you already generated that information at build time, right? So what it seems like a backwards way to solve the problem, to keep scanning, continue, because if you have an agent out there that can open up a container and scan it, you can also attack that agent and put nefarious code in it. So we're expanding the attack surface by using these agents that have access that they shouldn't have in production environments.
Yeah.
But that is one of the ways that they're solving it, is just say, let's just put an agent out there and constantly look at what's running in our production environments.
That raises a question in my mind. How do we scale in the, thousands of applications range? Are there any constraints?
Yeah, no, well, there probably are. I'd have to dig it up, but several years back, we did performance testing. We spent quite a bit of time doing performance testing. And the number of builds that we could consume at one time was in the thousands without showing any degradation. And that was before we actually started using microservices. So I don't believe that we right now know what our limit is. I'm sure there is one. The part of the reason why we wanted to move to microservices was because we knew then we could scale up the number of, we could replicate faster and be able to scale up the users quickly. But at the time when we were running it in a massive monolith, we did not hit we scaled up as much as we could without finding any problem, because the data that we capture isn't that big, right? We're not capturing massive amounts of data. And in terms of the SBOM, we're just gathering the changes when we do the versioning. So the data, it would be a data issue more than anything else, and we did not find that. And I'll go back through the contractor who did the work. I think I still have his stuff, and see if I can find his report.
It's probably worth including that in the Ortelius, PR material, whatever you call it these days, is we can scale to thousands of applications. Yeah. And if you're trying to intrusively probe containers, and Sasha would know this better than I would, but 1,000 applications probably equals what, 15,000 containers?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
performance cost to that, not to mention the security cost.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And
Big
in fact,
time.
all you do is get a little tiny bit wrong, and how many of those thousands of containers go away or crash? So
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay,
saying I wouldn't necessarily do both. I might, but what you can do without poking running systems is generally a better plan.
Mm.
okay, so let's go back to our front end since Arvin is working on it. Arvin, you want to share your screen and show us what you've gotten done? And I sent that report out to everybody. I couldn't figure out how to get it up to my Google Drive, but I just went ahead
I
and emailed it
shared
to you guys.
No, thanks.
I
I got it now.
shared Tracy, shared the link in the chat. It's the same link that I showed to you on
Okay.
Monday, but I haven't updated it yet.
Well, you want to share it with the rest of the team?
Yeah, I posted it in the Zoom chat. Let me do it again.
And I'm going to put it in the doc right now. So I think that, while he gets ready, I think the thing to remember is that as a team, we're taking on a pretty substantial problem. And we're a small team to do it. I'm proud of all of us for working as hard as we have of understanding this problem set and working towards providing solutions for the open source community.
Mm.
I believe that the dashboard that Arvin's working on, there's I think two critical things to really get the message out is
Mm.
a really clean front end dashboard that provides the information that people want right away, so they don't have to dig for it. We have to figure what that is. And secondly, a way to teach them to do easy onboarding into their Jenkins environment. I just want to start with Jenkins initially, just because
Mm.
Jenkins is part of the CD Foundation. I doubt if they're
Mm.
going to leave the CD Foundation anytime soon, even though some tools are leaving and going over to the CNCF. But I really want to support the Jenkins community because of our relationship with the Continuous Delivery Foundation. So
Fair
take it
enough.
away, Arvin. Let's see what you've kind of got. If you're going to share your screen and show us what you're doing.
Yeah. Does my screen is visible?
Yeah.
Yep.
What
So
does
yeah,
it
it's the
mean?
same. Yeah. So it's the same Figma that I shared in the outreach meeting. So based on the 15 points, like these 15 points, it is divided into 6 sections. So I created the first design, which is dividing the whole catalog into 6 sections. So it should be like this, like three different color for different points, which is like the first three total components, total application, number of reusable components, same for these, and is the bar chart. This for the three, and this for the two, and these are the OpenSSF score and OpenSSF scorecard implemented in percentage. And this will show the most important vulnerabilities and where it's coming from. So like most are coming, if most are coming from Russia or China, so it's a word map, and you will see like it will pop up like this.
Interesting.
So that's the first diagram. Is it for the general overview? It does not contain any detailed information. But if we want the detailed information of all these 15 points, then we can create something like this. So it contain all 15 points, 3, 7, 10,
So this
12,
one that you're
14, 15.
showing right now, Arvin, is this one at because I noticed the last one you showed would be at the application level. Is this one that you're showing here now? Yeah, so that one looks like that's at the application level, right?
I'm not sure if we want to do it in application level because it's the first dashboard. If someone wants to like who just opened the Ortelius dashboard, it's the dashboard we want him to see. And maybe if we go to the application or components that contain a more like detailed view, so I think that we have to create a new design for that. But it's for the general dashboard before going to any other navigation.
So I think that having these summaries like this, or for each of these, the levels is a really good idea. I didn't think about that. I think that the levels would be applications, components, and environments. We would have kind of a top level summary view. But we still need one that is a global view of all of their environments for like a CISO officer. So let's just think about our personas. We have security officers and DevOps engineers who are not necessarily connected to a single application. And then we have application teams and API developers. And the application teams are the ones consuming the APIs. So components would be associated to a developer, an API developer. Applications would be associated to application teams writing software that actually goes out the door. And then we have the higher level. The one area that we haven't talked about would be a production person, which would be based on environments. So we have high level applications that are deployed out to environments. We have components within that. And then we have the bigger picture, which is my entire domain, Bank of America, their entire domain, what those numbers look like. Have we done any work around that higher domain, the entire
No,
organization?
not yet, because the
Okay,
scope of that domain, the personas is not defined yet. But what we can do, like if we can create all these components and let them decide what component they want in their dashboard. Because if a production person is interested in looking at the money or like the vulnerabilities, he can customize the dashboards. So in that way, we don't have to manage that. We will create all the components and we will give them the option to view what they want.
cool. So on the right-hand side, the bigger one are the components that they can add to their dashboard.
Yeah, it's the same 15 one, but each component have a separate diagram because it's a more detailed view.
So what I think we might want to do is take this big one, this one here that you're showing. Let's capture it as like a PDF. Make sure that it's clear what it's showing, and write a kind of a summary of it, and send it out to our basically 300 folks who follow us, and ask for feedback.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Uh, yes, I have to like we have to first edit the diagram first because it's the first version based on our last discussion. Maybe we have to change something. After that, we can do that, or if you want, I we can create a PDF of this. And also for the application, I looked at the dashboard, and I think we can customize the Ortelius dashboard, and we can keep these diagrams separate to what we have previously existed in the platform.
So I think what would be probably
We,
what we'll have to do is we'll have to ask them to, we'll have to figure out a way to formulate that. We might even want to, no, I was going to say maybe we do it in a form and we can ask some questions about what they think. Sometimes that's easier to do. Let me think about how to do the outreach around that. It may be we ask them almost like for a survey, that we put this out here and say which, score from a 0 to 10, which is the most important on a dashboard that's tracking vulnerabilities to artifacts. Let me think about how to do that.
Suppose it also
yeah,
depends who you
yeah.
ask.
it's going to take, it may take some time to get these done. So I'm trying to come up with like, what's the top 4 or 5 that we can focus on?
Or we can divide them into sections, like one for the SBOM report, one for the financial report, one for the vulnerabilities, one for the error tracking. And each these section we can show 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 diagrams.
Arvin, would you mind adding to this desktop dash 5 a dollar amount?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Kind
Okay,
of, projected cost of vulnerabilities.
I will add that.
And I think the numbers that you can use are going to be, we pulled a lot of them from that report when we were working on this. Let me look to see what we put out there.
So what I have to write, projected.
So for the dollar amount, would you use something like this report to set an average
Yes.
or a base?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out there. Hang on just a second and I'll find out. Because Brian did some of the research on it. And I'm going to share.
Kind of like a bit of FinOps but for security, right? Like this is how much it can cost you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can find that here. Okay. Here is the breakdown. I'll share this with everybody right now. We did it on high and low. So there's the breakdown I just put in chat. I'll put that in the doc too.
Then I will take it from the doc.
Yeah, it's in there. So the average cost of a high is 65,000. The average cost of a low is 7,500.
That's a lot of money.
So I think that initially we would just do it based on the high. How many high-level vulnerabilities they have and what's the projected cost.
What we can do, like in the diagram, if I click on this diagram, it will pop up a box and it will show the name of the vulnerability and the cost related to it.
That would be interesting. That would be a really interesting map to play with, right?
Mm.
Yes,
But let's
I
add
will.
let's add a cost box there, and then let me figure out. Maybe we create a form and we ask our followers to respond to the form and see if we can get anybody to give us an idea of what they would be interested in and seeing, in the very at the highest level in terms of data gathering and those pie charts and the data that we're presenting. What do they want to know?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can add that, and then I'll just take a screen print of it when you're done, Arvin, and I'll think about how we can do that, and maybe on the outreach committee meeting we can finalize it.
Yeah, I will update the design after the meeting, and I
Okay.
will email you the link.
Well, I think you've done it. You've got a really good start on it. I think you've done an excellent job. I just want to make sure that what we're presenting is what our end users would like to see. or potential end users. So I feel like reaching out to the broader group to say, hey, we're working on this. What do you want to see?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I suppose everyone will have their own perspective depending on who you're asking, right? Depending on your position in the company, right?
I think it will. I think it'll have a difference if you're a DevOps engineer, if you're a CISO person.
Yeah.
The it should be total cost, right? For the normal box.
Yes. Total cost of the high risk vulnerabilities that are in their environment
Oh, okay.
based on that
Thank you.
65K number. Okay, so I'm going to stop that discussion before we run out of time. And I want Sasha to show us what he has worked on for creating an environment for Jenkins users.
Do that quickly. Just share the screen quick.
Yep.
Hmm. Is my desktop. Oh. Okay. So here's Jenkins. I'm writing the blog as I speak. I've almost finished writing the blog. Um, Steve had me on a project to get GitLab working, and then Tracy on Monday said, "No, we should do Jenkins." So I did Jenkins because GitLab was giving me grief because they don't. I have Pies and they run ARM processors, and GitLab doesn't have an image for ARM. And Jenkins is so quick to deploy because
Yeah.
because they have Helm charts with ARM and all of that. So I went ahead and quickly deployed Jenkins, which looks like this. So if I just do this quick, yeah, see, here's my Jenkins pod, busy running there.
Hey,
And
are we sharing the screen? Because I don't see my screen.
oh,
I just
sorry guys, that must be better.
there we go. That's much better. Yep.
Sorry. So if you look here, oh, where is it? Here's my Jenkins pod running. Um, here's my Jenkins NFS share where all the Jenkins configuration is living, so that when the pod dies, I don't lose all my configuration. Here's my Jenkins, and here's all the Jenkins. Here's the. Am I still there? Did I lose you
Yeah.
guys?
No,
No,
you're
you're still
here.
there. Okay. Um, here's all the Jenkins configuration in that NFS share, so that if the pod dies, it just comes back up and gets mounted, and all the configuration's still there. So
Nice. Nice.
kind of important. I've even configured backups. So if we go into Jenkins now, so here's the Ortelius demo app. And what the Ortelius demo app is doing is this. I'm going to main. My builds aren't functioning. Well, they are working. It's just that it's failing on something in the deploy hub CLI. It doesn't like this one component. I'll show you now. But otherwise, it works. So here's the Jenkins file. So what it's gonna do in Ortelius is it's gonna record it's gonna use this username and password. This is that default admin. My organization is called Panga Rabbit, which is my fictitious company. Um, the project is called Ortelius Jenkins Demo App, and the Docker repo and the URL to my Ortelius is this one, ortelius.pangarabbit.com. So if you've been following the blog series, you will have Ortelius busy running, right? So when you run this Jenkins now, this information will be used to inject into, as far as I understand, into Ortelius. And what it does is it just builds this, it pulls down this Spring Boot application, and basically it builds this application, goes through the process of building it, and it pushes all that information, including the SBOM. Here's the SBOM piece. And then it creates that component and pushes it into Ortelius and with all the SBOM recorded data.
Nice.
And then it's connected to GitHub. So I'm busy blogging, putting into our blog how you can hook that up. It's not that hard. I can even just do a build for fun. There's it. There it is. There's my build. You can see it's connecting to GitHub, my GitHub repo using my personal access token that I've set up for Jenkins. And oh, something broke. Should never do live demos.
It's okay. It's totally okay. You're amongst friends here. You're with your
Yes,
brothers and
yes.
sisters. We
As
don't
soon as I
mind.
go away, it'll work. Right.
I know. Oh, that's like me. I'll have something wrong with my code and I'll
Oh,
be like struggling and struggling with it. And then I'll call Steve. He'll come over and I'll run it and it'll work. And it was like, it wasn't working like 5 seconds ago. And he was like, I don't know. Don't turn around and walk away.
yeah, don't walk away. Exactly. Let me just try one. Let me just try. It was working there. I haven't changed anything, which is, it's typical, you know, supposed to build. Oh, where is my
So
build?
Sasha, all those Jenkins instances, you are a local builder, right?
Yeah, why does it say my cloud doesn't exist? It does. Yeah, I'll show you now. So, okay, so that was a nice fail, but at least you had a laugh.
So what I think, so what I think I'd like to do is, Jesse, why don't you introduce yourself since you're new here, and I think I'm going to give you a task if you're up for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Jesse?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm Jesse. I just started the IB year. Uh, Although I've been here probably half an hour, I'm very lost.
That's good. We like that. You need to be lost in the beginning because that's where you learn the most.
Okay.
Well,
It's true.
he passed the entry Python programmer certificate from the Python Institute this summer. So I'm
Yay!
encouraging
Yes.
him to do more.
So,
Yeah,
Sasha, would you be willing to work with Jesse to go through your how to bake an Ortelius pie,
yeah, sure.
and make sure that those are falling together,
Sure.
and then all the way down to this. I can't, because I feel like at some point what we need is just this part. So if we have to do like a shortcut to the Jenkins Ortelius one, we'll need to come up with that. But
Okay, so
let's see how easy it is for Jesse to onboard. We need someone like Jesse to be able to onboard it and learn from their experience within 30 minutes to an hour.
wow. Okay, I hope you've got Red Bull.
So that is your task, is
I
to
like it.
get Jesse where he can set up his environment on
Yeah,
his
cool.
local machine, all the way down to connecting to the SaaS version of Ortelius.
I'll
And
help you, Jesse. I always said wants to set this. Anybody wants to build Ortelius and have it running with a proper environment, not just like seeing the interface, because that's why I'm doing this, so I can also learn. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
using Ortelius's repo to do that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So you're you're doing the scanning and the SBOMs based on the Ortelius code.
Yeah. The only thing is, I
Yeah.
can't do the SBOM because at the moment I'll show you why. I think it's best if I just quickly show you guys. I have ARM processors and the two microservices, these two. See these two? The
Yep,
SBOM. Am I still
yep,
sharing? I am.
yep, yep,
SBOM
yeah,
and
you are.
scorecard.
Yep.
SBOM and scorecard. They don't support my ARM processors. Boo. So
Huh.
yeah,
Did you talk to
check
Steve
out.
about that?
Yeah, I've created a, no, I don't want that. I created a, I told Steve, he knows about it. We try to fix it, but it's trying to find the image. You see here?
Yep.
This version of Amazon Linux requires a newer ARM64 processor compliant. So my processor, the ones on the two microservices are newer than my Pies, and so they can't, it won't run. That's the problem. So I won't be able to do the S bombs.
Well, we have to that we'll just have to figure that out because you're not going to be the only one that runs into stuff like that. I guess we
Yeah.
don't believe in backward compatibility anymore, do we?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
It just,
true. People don't think about backward compatibility anymore.
I mean, it's a
It
Pi
happens.
4. Yeah, it's not old. They're not that old, but I mean, like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Great. Now my
You may
machine
have
is
to.
just,
Can you upgrade the environment that we're running in?
maybe I can upgrade my Pies with firmware. That's a good point. I never thought of that. Thanks. I'll give that an investigation. Yeah. Oh, and I know why my build failed. Um, because GitOps came and reconciled my Helm chart with the information in the Helm chart. I'll tell you guys, this is what happened. I changed in the cloud component of Jenkins, I changed it to Panga Rabbit K8, the name. But GitOps, it checks for drift, right? It's checking for configuration drift. And then it's going, oh, Jenkins, you've got the wrong information compared to what I have. And it changed it back to the default of Kubernetes. And that's why my
Oh,
build doesn't work. Yeah.
but and that's an easy problem to fix compared to the SBOM and the scorecard microservices that are
Yeah,
crashing.
yeah, that's an easy one to fix. Yeah, that's an easy one to fix. So I'll just update my Helm chart with the information. Over here, you see here it says cloud name. See it says Kubernetes. So if I put,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
if you look at my Jenkins file, what does it say? Yeah,
Panda Rabbit or
Rabbit
Panda.
Cloud
Yeah,
K8.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you hate it when computers do exactly what you tell them to?
I know. It's so true.
So, so Jesse, you're going to be this is going to be a wild ride for you, and you'll have a lot of fun. And there's no shame in asking questions, right, Sasha?
I haven't stopped.
Hmm.
You're going to
Yes.
you'll learn a ton by going through this, and I'm going to Sasha, could you just bounce over to the Ortelius website and
Oh
show
yeah.
those show the first one, the first how to create a Ortelius pie?
Yeah, yeah. I think my terminal's crashed. Yeah.
It should be over in blogs.
Hmm. Yeah, my machine's, well, my internet's a bit slow.
I could bring it up if you want me to.
Yeah. Oh, wait, something's happening here. Blog. Come on, man. Maybe I should stop sharing. Maybe you should show it,
Blog is
Tracy.
all the way over to the right. Oh, okay. I'll share mine.
Yeah, I think because I'm going all the way over to the States, it'll probably be faster on you. On your side, yeah.
Okay. So Jesse, here are these. It's a three-part series. And
Okay.
we're seeing that. Is that right? Where's the third one?
Yeah, they're a
There's a
bit
four-part
spaced.
series. So
Yeah,
start with one.
there's four. Yeah, there's four at the moment.
Start with this one, and it's going to walk you through how to set all of this stuff up. And
Yeah.
Jesse, are you have you joined the Discord channel yet?
I think so, yeah.
Start posting questions to Sasha in there as you're walking through this. When you
Okay.
get stuck, your job is to say, I'm stuck.
Okay.
I can't promise that there isn't something not correct in the docs, right? So it's good if somebody goes through it because then they can say, this doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's what we need. That's what we need. And eventually what we need is these broken out, but one that takes them directly to, and maybe we have to provide something that's, that gets them to 4, right? Because the last one is that you
You don't
did
have to
was
use a pie. You don't have to use a pie. As long as you can get Kubernetes, then you can start further up the chain, right? Yeah.
that's what we need to be able to do is for the Jenkins and Ortelius one, that just to get them quickly onboarded, that's the one we need to do. But while the other ones are really good, because I've read all these, they're really good for learning. So that's why
Yeah.
for Jesse, I think that it'll be useful for you to go through the all 4 as they are, just because you're going to learn so much from it. By the time you get to Ortelius, I think it'll be easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Ortelius is actually, like I was saying to Tracy on Monday, Ortelius, if you think of an aeroplane, Ortelius is the black box in an aeroplane. But if you don't have the wings and the nose and the tail, then it's just a black box, right? So you need to
Yeah,
understand.
Jenkins
Yeah.
is the airplane, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You need that to be able to get Ortelius. Like, this is what Ortelius does. It records everything that Jenkins is doing when it comes to building software. Yeah.
On another note, the Hacktoberfest blog is out there. I would highly recommend all of you to go ahead and join Hacktoberfest. Let's see what we can, how many of us can actually get our 4 pull requests in for October. There are featured issues out here. You don't have to do any one of these. You can pick something that's already out there, but these are the ones that Steve felt was these were good for Hacktoberfest. And I updated the blogs. So here is the blog calendar. So if you're interested in writing, and Jesse, I know you think you're too new to write something. Every time I write a blog, I have to do research, and it's a way for me to learn more. So don't be hesitant and say, I don't know, I'm not the right person to write technical documents or pick a topic and write about it. But anytime you learn, I mean, Arvin is a perfect example. Arvin has come such a long way since he first started with us. And I know you will too.
Me too, don't worry. I started off so green. I met Tracy once and now I've been here and now I'm part of the furniture.
Hey, he's one of our gold what do we call him? Legends. He's a gold legend, Sasha. He and
Thank you.
Ukarsh are gold legends.
Yeah. I've learned so much, Ortelius. It's better than any course you could ever take.
I got a bug. I got how to submit a blog. Is that
And you get
right?
to meet people from all over the world, which is even cooler. Yeah,
It is. It is. It's fun.
it
I've
is.
learned so much from this group. I mean, it's taken me places I never thought I would go, really.
Mm. And we've
So
got the coolest.
Jesse, we're excited to have you because we love watching people grow, and as we all are. But when we get younger people who are just getting into this business, we all get pretty excited about helping you out.
Mm.
Okay.
So don't feel embarrassed to go, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing with this, and put it out there on Discord.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Or if you screw up, get.
Don't worry,
I,
Steve's
I,
had to rescue me
you
a few
guys don't have
times.
any idea how many times he's rescued me. Oh my God, I was like, I've created way too many branches. I don't know how to fix this.
I've broken things. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, all. Thank you so much. And Arvin, I'm looking forward to that last one. And I'll start next week. I'll start trying to think of
I
what
have
we want to
updated the
do.
design. Just give me 1 minute.
Of course you have.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah,
We can see you now. Oh, there you go. Now we can see it.
something like that.
I think that works fine. Yes. Yep.
It will take some time, but this cost should be up and this one should be last. But it takes a lot of time too because I didn't group that. So if
Okay.
we can use this or you can use this, and if we hover over that, it will show something like that. The name
Okay.
of the vulnerability and the total cost.
And is there a way to share this with multiple people? Like you can't, can you?
Currently, this Canvas link is open to everyone.
Oh, it is. So we could put that, if we just had, is there, can you hide the other ones and just have this one?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you need to give me, just this one, and then I'll think about what we need to do to create like a survey and ask people what data they want to see.
Are we going to have a global map eventually with all this kind of stuff on? Is that the idea?
That would be kind of cool. It takes us back to the Ortelius name, right? That's why I like the map out there.
And because I was just thinking that because I built an app for my wife for her research using mapping technology, uh, um, called Mapbox. You guys should check that out. Mapbox.com. Oh my word, it was amazing.
So Tracy, does it still works? I have
I
hide
think,
all of these,
okay, perfect. So that link will
and
work
any
regardless.
yeah, anyone can edit, anyone can comment. So if you want, you can change the design also. Anyone.
Oh my God, those are beautiful maps.
You got a Mapbox? No.
Of course I did. I'm a map freak. I love maps.
You're gonna love this tool. You don't even have to know how to code because they've got a studio where you can go and so there's the coders, they have things for all the coders, and then they have studio for all the visual people coming from the other side.
So as
Yeah.
excited as you got about that, Sasha, we need to make it that easy to get excited about bringing Ortelius and start to, we need to make that same environment for Ortelius.
Okay, so we would probably want something
This
like
one
this.
is better.
Those are really cool looking maps, right?
And they're insane. It's amazing what you can do with this thing. I couldn't believe it. And it's free. Yeah. Like
Yeah, it's beautiful.
super cool. 3D, everything. It's mad.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Leave it to Sasha to find cool tools.
Oh my
Gadgets.
God.
I like gadgets too.
We can create a game.
Okay, so we'll
Really?
leave it at that for today because we're at an hour. But I will think about I think I'm going to do a form that says here's the link to the Figma. We're looking for vote on your favorite objects or something of that sort.
Yeah. You can use the Figma link, and if we want to create PDF, let me know. I will create one.
Okay. And I want to make sure we get Kate's input on this too, because she's got some pretty clear ideas about data and how to what's important.
Because she's in
Yeah.
security, right?
Yeah, yeah, she's got a lot of background in the area that we're playing in. I think her input would be pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
All right, everybody, and Jesse, welcome aboard. We hope we don't scare you too far away. I'm sure your mother will be rooting for you to make sure everything is as clear as possible. But don't literally, this team is kind and helpful, and don't worry about posting any question on Discord. No question is a dumb question. Let's just put it that way. Every question is a smart one.
Okay.
Jing, is this
All
your
right.
son? That is so cool.
Yeah,
Keeping
in
it
2
in
months' time,
family.
he's about to turn 17.
Come, Jesse, let's go. Let's go do some microservices with Ortelius. Come.
I know. That's why he's the perfect guinea pig for all this. If Jesse
Yeah,
can learn
exactly.
it, if Jesse can
Yeah.
learn it, then there's no reason for anybody. In our first product, our Meister product, we had one of our first users was a woman who was a real estate agent who wanted to get in tech, and she did she did some kind of I don't know how she ended up at the bank we were at, but she did, and she was supposed to be doing some really easy things. And so we gave her Meister to start running all of the software builds. Everybody thought we were crazy, but it was like, well, if a real estate person she's interested in tech, she was in real estate before, if she can learn it, anybody can, right?
If someone's interested, they're gonna bust their butt off to learn
To
it. They're
learn
not
it.
gonna have a problem with that learning it. They're gonna learn so fast because they've got
And
they've got
along that
buy-in.
journey, we learned what we know, and we didn't explain, right? Because sometimes you can't explain well what you know so well, right?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
in US politics right now, every time I hear a politician talk about the economy, I wish they would try to break it down and say, this is really what's happening in our economy right now. Don't just say the cost of eggs and bacon is high, so, get rid of that president. It's just ridiculous.
Anytime I hear a politician talk from anywhere in the world, I just close my eyes.
Well, there's a lot of bluster in the US right now, let me tell you that.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay,
Jesse, I
guys.
shared the course in the chat. You can take a look.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Arvin, how old were you when you started with us?
I was 19.
Oh, see?
19. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm super
Currently,
old.
we got it 3 years, and currently I am 22.
Whoa. Are you 22?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm almost double your age. It's unbelievable.
Don't go there.
Age is just a number.
Don't go there.
I'm not going to say anything.
Let's not go there.
But Alvin and I, we hang out the whole time and do Cody things, right? It's so rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Age is just a number.
It is just a number, and what they say is mine's unlisted.
Yeah, exactly. Can't help the time, eh?
Okay, team, we will talk soon. Thanks
Cheers,
for a great
cheers.
discussion.
All
Yeah.
right.
Everyone.
Cheers, guys.
All
Bye.
right,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.